Welcome, beautiful beings, back to my channel. I attempted to do my first YouTube live just now, and then it came up. I had thought, because I've not done as much research, it's been something that I've been feeling guided to do for quite some time. Excuse me while I just get myself. Not having a professional studio like some people out there, or professional equipment or anything, because we're not quite at that level. I've only just recently bought myself like a more of a professional microphone recently. But yeah, having watched other people that are on various social media platforms and channels, some have like a whole sort of like professional recording studio equipment. I do not have that yet. If this is something that I am intended and meant to be doing, which I feel like it is, sharing in many ways is part of my purpose. I feel it, whether that is sharing using my voice, sharing using arts that I'm creating, and again, all this is it's more and more is inspired. I made commitment to spend more time following my heart's guidance of what to create, where to go, what to do. And I have always been very intuitively guided, even though I was so very unaware of how aware I was. These last few years of going on this evolving into well-being journey, which is what this last intense sort of 3-ish years have been about. And I didn't realise it's exactly what it was at the time, but that is what it was, and that has allowed me to realise more of who I truly am, my vibrational frequency, my natural frequency. We all have our own individual natural, divinely, born frequency, and I get this sort of stuff from listening to many other people, and having listened to so many different people from different techniques, different modalities, different backgrounds, different cultures in this really intense well-being journey over the last few years, and then sort of the last like 10-ish years, I'm part of my thing, and it has always been, because I've done this when I was younger, before I really got into the energy stuff. But I've always been into spirituality. Always been very open. Was born with clear senses already switched on, which I believe. Well, we all have the opportunity to be able to access this stuff. It just depends on whether we choose to, whether we believe it. Our intention, obviously, the big part of it, I believe, intention. And whether it's part of our path in this particular life, in other previous lives of mine, or the parallel realities of mine, previous lives of mine, it wasn't my path, but it is my path this time. This lifetime is my path for me to fully awaken to who I truly am, and my core vibrational frequency, and then to share that with the world, because it's or to share it with others that are open to my frequency. And whoever, the universe, my higher self, my guides, etc., the divine, God, source, whatever we wish to name those energies that are greater than us, but yet we are part of. However however I'm guided by all of that, and having been able to clear out other people's BS, which is just the woundings and stuff that came from other people, which we all have, and it's no judgment to these other people. Everyone's on their own path, as I like to say. Everyone is perfectly imperfect. Everyone hurt people for a start. They don't even realise they're hurting people. I'm sure that I know that there have been previous old identities of me that I have possibly have hurt people unintentionally, and I've allowed others to hurt me. Again, some unintentionally, others maybe not so unintentionally. But a lot of it is because people are operating from they're operating from the subconscious, not consciously doing these things to hurt people. If all someone has ever known is hurt and pain, they're not going to know what love feels like. They're not going to know when love comes along. The people that have been hurt and just lived a life in hurt and pain and fear, because that's all they've been shown. When love comes along, when real love, true love, divine love comes along, they're going to reject it because there's a part of them that is going to feel they're not worthy of that love. They're not good enough to receive that love. They've never been shown that love before. So why are they going to believe in love now? And part of, for me, sharing this is to help others realize that love does exist. Love is true. It is truth. And that we all have this love accessible within us via our heart vortex. And it's via our heart vortex, that becomes encased in woundings and other people's BS. Especially when you're very open as a child, and our parents are just teaching how they were taught. It's just learnt behaviour repeating itself. That's the cycle. That's the trauma cycle. Hurting people without even realising it, because that's the perspective they've come from. If in our survival brain, if I have survived, and this is just the survival brain, which is like it's a separate. I see the survival brain, the ego, as a separate part of my brain now. It's a separate part. I really get now. I never used to get the whole idea of like, be observer of your thoughts, or you're the consciousness behind your thoughts. And I used to get like a part of me got it, because I was always kind of interested. It drew me in listening to stuff like that, but I didn't sort of logically get it. And for me, as much as I'm intuitive, highly intuitive, also I like to be able to understand things from a mental perspective as well, if I was able. But the intuitive was beforehand, I would rely on the logic to come first, to sort of understand, and then I would trust my gut, my intuition. Now it's more about, I trust my intuition, I trust my heart, and the discernment with that, to discern obviously with which actual part of me is speaking, if you like, is communicating, and then understand it with the logic, if that's possible, because it's not always possible for the logic to understand. You're not going to, the logical part of us is not designed to understand the stuff. So Bashar says, I believe, is not designed to try and to be able to figure out what's going to happen. It's more of a tool to be used in a reflective way, so we can reflect on what happened, try and make sense of what happened, in the sense of, to be able to kind of go, I understand why that experience or that interaction happened now, not to me, but for me. I understand why that happened. I understand why that person came into my life, and why they taught me heartbreak, why they showed me, gifted me the experience of heartbreak. Now, I've had heartbreak many, many times. A lot of my life, this life, has been about understanding myself, my inner self, my true self, figuring out, feeling out who I truly am from the perspective of relationships to myself being the most important one, relationship to source, to God, relationship to my guides, relationship to my ancestors, relationship to potential partners, or what was partners, relationship to friends, relationship to family, relationship to money. All of relationships is what it's been, this lifetime has been about, because through those, understand those inner standing, as Jerry Sargent, Star Magic Healing, and I'll possibly quote a lot of other people, because give credit to where credit's due. I've learnt along this path, not just from listening to my own intuition and my guides, but also listening to those guides that are external to me, in the sense that, the people that are on other social media platforms and are sharing their own version of light and love and truth and freedom. And as I said, having listened to and come across and been gifted the opportunity to listen to so many others across the board, not just in, because for me it's even spirituality for me is development, it's self-development, it's personal growth. I see it as one and the same, but in business areas, in relationship areas, in financial areas, in spirituality, in across the board, different cultures, different techniques, different modalities. For me, I know now, I inner know now, I can inner feel when something is, and we all have the capability of being able to do this. It's just we've got to come into our heart to be able to feel it. We've got to come into our body and into our heart to be able to feel it. When something is truth for us, when something is truth for me, it will resonate with inside my body. And again, that was a word that I never really got until part way through this journey. And for me, resonate will be because my energy starts to go. Like I'll start, like now, I'm talking and I'm feeling flutterings of what feels like almost tickling, but a fluttering up the back of my legs, one leg in particular. And that's like my energy is starting to switch on, if you like, my own energetic frequency. So my aura, my own energy within this auric field and my force field, I call it, that is surrounding me, it's almost like it's softly fluttering on the outside of my skin. That's how I know it's, when it first started happening, these sort of things, I was like that. And it started happening for me on my hands first. I always knew healing hands. My grandmother, who's no longer with us, has made a transition. She was a very known medium where she came from. And the healing hands was one. Oh, my ears just popped. One of the things that she had was she worked with her hands a lot, and so I always had this inner knowing feeling that on this journey, some point in this life, that's because I've always been told very good massages and stuff, that's where the energy would start to feel first, is on my hands. And that's exactly what happened. My hands now, so the energy around my hands would sort of start to tingle, and that's when I know something is resonating. Either I'm speaking a truth, and it's a truth that's not necessarily just coming from me. This is truth that is coming from what I'm connected to, what I'm allowing to, the energy of love, being a being of love, which we all ultimately are. We all come from unconditional source love, and we all go back to unconditional source love. Ultimately, at the end of everything, at the beginning of everything, is love. It is the greatest power, the greatest force that exists. That's why it is the highest of vibrational frequencies that exist, at least in the truth that as I understand it, I understand it, and how it comes through to me. And those that feel that, you'll also resonate with that. It will feel like truth to you, because it is your truth that you're connecting to. Some part of you knows, understands, understands that the energy that's coming in the words that I'm speaking, because it's called spelling for a reason. We kind of spell as in our, we're spelling with our brain. Hears, our subconscious never sleeps. It hears absolutely everything. It registers everything. Everything we see, everything we hear, everything in our environment, absolutely everything. It is the most powerful computer, if you like, that there is. It never switches off. Even when we're asleep, it never switches off. So it's taking in everything, so it's processing the amount of information stuff that it processes. And I know that for me, because it's like a sponge, an absorber of information, I love it. I actually seek this stuff out. It's a passion of mine, it's a joy of mine, which is why it makes sense that this stuff kind of comes through, so I can share it out, because I love knowing this stuff myself. I love connecting, feeling this connection of love and truth, and feeling the energy come out in the words that I speak and the frequency that I share. It's not just, obviously, it's also my frequency, my energy. It's an essence. When we're tapped in, we're tuned in, we're aligned, we're connected, and we're speaking from the heart. We're grounding to our body, which is very, very important. And then we're connected and allowing it. It's almost allowing my heart. This is allowing. The reason it's going so quickly, I trip on my words, is because the energy is coming through so quickly, and I have to. It's almost like my brain sometimes has to kind of catch. My brain, or the words, are kind of trying to catch up. My mouth has to try and catch up with the energy that's coming through. So please bear with me. Also, there's a little bit of mucus where it's quite early in the morning. Oh, 0606. That'll be numbers. I love numbers as well. And again, this shows that all of these things that are coming apparent to myself now. I've listened to other people. There's various other people that I might mention as I go through that I've been listening to, and it's one in particular, an energy reader who's now got a new channel, who used to be the tarot priest. I've listened to her for a few years. I really love card readings. They speak to me because anything that, again, this is something else I've heard other people say, anything that we have an interest, a joy, a passion in is something that is for us. Again, it's another way of hearing out what is our truth. And so listening to the other people, I would feel these things within my body, and so I'd know, oh, this is, and now I know that that's true. It's because it's true for me. It's on some level, I already know this. A part of me already knows this. My higher self has already been telling me this stuff and attempting to guide me this stuff throughout my whole entire life, many lifetimes. But it's only this one where obviously my awareness has expanded so much that I have a greater inner standing of self, that I can now look back with this expanded awareness and able to see from this more expanded perspective, because that's all expanded awareness is. It's a different level of consciousness. It's a different level of perspective of self, that I'm able to look back and go, right, now I get why all those things happened. They were leading me to this point right here and now. They were like initiations. They were trainings. It was preparation. And it all makes sense now. Like, it's just confirmations for what I already knew. Part of me already knew, but there was another part of me that was blocking it, that was resisting it. And that was resistance and blocking was because of other people's bullshit that had been projected, that we do. You know, that humans, it's part of the human drama experience, as I like to call it. We project onto others because we're still so caught up in the fact that it's all external. It's not internal. No, it's internal first. And then it's external. The stuff in the external is showing us what is not going right, or what is going right, in a sense, in our internal. So our external is just a part of us going, hello, there's something to look at here. Hello. If there's something that's not right, there's something we don't prefer in our external, it's because there's something internally that we need to have a look at. We need to feel out. Is the truth of what I have discovered. And so this evolving into well-being, it started off as so I needed to look at myself, feel myself, what was going on internally that was causing these things externally. I went and I've had more than my fair share of traumatic experiences, not that I'll go into them all, but just to show that it's not as much as, and I have always been a being of love and sunny disposition and positive vibrations, and the whole world is sunshine, rainbows and unicorns and sunshine and just love, because there is a life, and I know because I've experienced this, and I know because I've had visions of it, I know because I've connected so much more to that aspect of me, that I have lived that in other parallelities. I'm living that now. If you look at the theory that everything all timelines are running simultaneously, consecutively, all at once, and that's why we can jump from one to another, quantum jumping and the timeline shifting, all that kind of stuff, which is very big in the it's starting to become very big in the mainstream now. And I'm aware that I have done that, and it's because of how the external world has portrayed to me, and because of how I felt when I've woken up and stuff like that. It's so interesting. That's a whole other video, but it's if you believe it's real, it's real. For me, nothing's impossible. The word is I am possible. The truth of the word is I am possible. When you just take a moment to breathe and really try to inner stand. Thank you, Jerry Sargent, for that word. It's a great word. Inner stand, take a breath, and it's very hard for our humanness to comprehend this. So it's not a comprehension with the human aspect of us, it's a comprehension with our soul aspect, with our higher self aspect, if you like. Call it higher self, because I envision it in my head, even though I feel that we feel these things, we connect these things through our heart vortex. That's how we connect to these different energies, the energy of love, the energy of God, the energy of source. That's how I feel it. And so I know it's truth. It's coming from my heart. Heart is always truth, because the heart is always love. The woundings and stuff that we go through, the traumatic experiences, the imprints and stuff, not only do they cause how I come to understand it, is not only do they cause blockages of energy and stuck energy and stuff within our energy centers, our chakras, our transmission centers, and with our meridian lines, if you like, our energy lines that we have that run around our body, with our tordal field, and with that, that in that from an energy point of view, but also it builds up an energy wall around our heart called a heart wall. A guy called Dr. Bradley Nelson that does a technique called the emotion code and the body code. Fabulous, fascinating, another technique that at some point I will give myself the gift of learning or training in. He does like there's a free sort of part that you can get on his website. It's discoverhealing.com, I think it's the website. But it's called the emotion code, the body code. And it's, for me, I never understood or knew about this thing about heart wall. And it's, how this stuff works is magical. So years ago, the very first energy healing that I ever had, that I really remember. So I had some Reiki of a friend many years before that, but I didn't really feel it as much back then. I felt something, but it was like, yeah, kind of feel something, but didn't really get it. Kind of feel something, felt warm and nice, body felt good. That was it, and nothing. I wasn't in the space back then, the mindset, the space that I truly connected to my heart, to the point of where I could really understand what that was doing on a different level. I felt the truth of it because my body resonated with it. My body felt good, but not enough to kind of go back or to really begin exploring that at that particular time. It just wasn't my time then. It is now. And so a few years ago, at the height of where the world changed at that particular time, I had an energy healing with a lady who was giving sort of free or more discounted energy-based healings, basically 2211 when I said that, and it was phenomenal. But she said to me at the time, that I had to give her permission for her to work on my heart. She said, your heart is so, and afterwards she told me, and as soon as I gave permission, she got me to repeat some words, and as soon as I repeated those words and I gave permission, I felt it. My whole body, I remember my whole body jumping. I was like, when I had my eyes closed, and my whole body just kind of reacted and jumped, and then was just like this beautiful relaxation that just came over the whole of me, that just enveloped me. It was like it was like tension that I never realised I'd been walking around with my whole entire life left, eased off. When people turn around and say that you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders, it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. It was, and it like feeling and remembering it again now. And just by that, and I just felt my whole body it relax in a way it had never done before. And she said to me afterwards that my heart was encased in this thick sort of steel cage under lock and key, and she couldn't get into it. And that's what we do when we've had woundings and stuff. From a child's perspective, anything could be traumatic, anything could be a wounding. I've spoken about this before. Because a child is got an emotional, there's an emotional brain there. There's no logic. The adult brain, the logical part of the brain, has not even begun to develop until a child, I think it's about 7, 8 years old. Between 7, 8, 9, 10, I think it depends. I think it's about 7, 8 years old, I think, on the degree that I did a few years ago. But these things change so rapidly, and especially now. But because it does appear like things are going, do you not feel like time is sped up? For me, it's not so much time is sped up, but the information that's easily accessible out there, even though the internet's been out for X amount of years, the information that's coming to me is but it's not just it's also here and here. So it's coming in many different ways. But so from an emotional perspective, that is children. We're just children just are sponges, but everything comes in from their emotional perspective. So they're seeing everything from an emotional point of view. So anything and everything can be taken on as traumatic by a child. And so what we do as children is, and there's different ways of looking at it as well. In psychology, they'll say that can be part of the brain can split off. In shamanism, we'll turn around and say that part of the soul can break off. When something, too harmful or considered too harmful, hurtful happens. And in another way, from this energetic point of view, we can have a bit of energy can get stuck within our system somewhere, and we can build up a heart wall. And it's not until that heart wall has been broken down that we can really start to feel with our heart and reconnect with our heart. And I think there's still those that are walking around, and even stuff, people in my immediate environment and friends and family and stuff, where I would say that there is still heart walls that are there, that are energetic blind spots. And even for myself, I had no idea that I was walking around with this steel cage. And she said when the steel cage come off, obviously my heart open. I felt it. I felt the jolt. I felt the locks. As soon as I gave permission, I felt the key turn in the lock, and I felt that bust away. And I say, just the tension that left my body was immense, but I had no idea. And our heart is our most powerful, gives off our most powerful magnetic frequency. If that's under lock and key and under all this heart wall, it's no wonder that we're not able to use our most powerful magnetic frequency tool, if you like, because it gives off the strongest. When we're truly connected and aligned into our heart space, it gives off the auric field, the magnetic frequency that it gives off is the most powerful, and it's the biggest. It goes the farthest. And I was listening to a guy who's I can't remember the guy's name, but it was just like an introduction on this technique that this person has created after many years of listening to other people and doing other trainings and stuff. They come up with their own technique, which seems to be the way a lot of beings seem to do. The ones that I've resonated with me most, for me in the heart, that's what they've done, is they've spent a lot of time listening to others. I've spent a lot of time listening to others, but I haven't, and I've done trainings, but I haven't done lots and lots. I've done lots of little bits sort of across the board, which seems to be my thing, because that's what I've done with a lot of stuff. My degree, one of the things I used to get was I've got great research when it goes wide, but I need to go more in depth. So now I make a commitment and intention to go more in depth with things. So beforehand, the first however many years was kind of spreading it wide, and now it's kind of like picking and focusing on those ones that I really resonate with and going more in depth with those, which is what the last few years have been about. And so this technique, and he was saying this particular person was quoting, I think had done a lot of research into a book called The Body Keeps the Score, phenomenal book. I haven't read it all myself, but it's a phenomenal book, and it's all about how our body basically keeps the score of every single interaction, experience, wounding, traumatic experience that happens to us. And the heart wall is part of that. So it's like different. For me, it's the many different layers. We've got our mind that keeps the score in one with our subconscious. We've got our heart. We can build up a heart wall, and we can also have these stuck energies within our chakras, within our transmission centers, within other parts of our auric field and stuff like that, and our energy field. And he was saying that from a neuroplasticity point of view, so brain point of view, he said that when we have woundings, our frequency, our natural, innate, born, divine frequency becomes distorted. So the frequency we're giving off is not our natural, true, energetic frequency. It's not our true vibration. So we're attracting, and he said what we do is we don't just attract in stuff, we're also attracted to. So if we've got woundings that we have yet to feel out, because we have to feel the woundings. The reason these woundings and stuff, I think, become, or so I understand it, a wounding traumatic experience happens. We develop a wounding, which is just like an open. It's a wound. It's an open. If you feel like when you fall over and stuff, you have a scab. It's an open wound. That wound has to be treated and looked after to be fully healed and brought back to a state of well-being. The scab forms over, etc., etc. 29. And we don't do that as humans. Because not as much emphasis is put on the emotional side of things, the energetic side of things. When a wounding happens, it's like, a child falls over, just dust yourself off, wipe yourself off, and just kind of carry on. When something traumatic happens to a child, we're generally told to, one thing for me was, shut up. Speak when you're spoken to was obviously the generation, kind of the end of the generation that when I was born. One of the things that I've heard other parents on the street and stuff say this, if you don't stop crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. When I was younger, obviously not now, and I never understood that. I never understood the conflicting statement, the conflicting energies within that statement. The child is crying because they're in pain, they're in hurt somewhere, or they can't get their own way, which again is they're in pain. From that child's perspective, they're in pain, they're hurting. Even if it's a case of they can't get what they want, they're in pain, and because they can't get what they want, they're being told no. They're part of them, part of their self is being told they cannot have that. They're not worthy of that. In some sense, that's how a child sees it. You can't have that. Relates to a child in some sense. I would, looking back at my own self and some of the techniques and stuff that I've done, it comes, the child, for me, when I was told kind of no, that no resonated as in, no, I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not lovable. I'm not good enough to have whatever it is that I wanted. When ultimately all I ever really wanted was love. Was love from a parent that was emotionally able to give. And no, there's no judgment to my particular parents. They again were coming from their own pain. My mum went through really severe postnatal depression after I was born, and I wasn't born with us having that maternal bond. And again, no judgment. It's all perfectly perfect because it's all exactly brought me to who I am, where I am now. So it's all part of the plan. I, in a stand, know that I had a hand in choosing the parents that I was born into, and I believe that's the same for all of us. But again, that won't be everyone's truth. That is my truth, and if it's your truth, you'll feel it. The reason there is so many different people speaking so many different truths is because we are all individuals, much as we are all part of the collective all. And I do feel like because of that, we'll have our own versions of what is truth in our reality. And so that's why you sometimes, and also that has changed for me as well. Sometimes some things that somebody will say will resonate with me. Like beforehand, there were people that resonated with me that maybe not resonate with me so much anymore, because my truth, what I believe, what I feel is truth for me has expanded, has changed. So what they say no longer quite resonates. So those people don't really tend to pop up so much. Like the universe is great at my higher self, my inner self. The universe and guides, etc., are very great at gifting me stuff on various social media platforms that I interact with, and I get answers through this stuff. So I'll ask a question. Like, this is how I experiment with a lot of this stuff. I got this from one of my teachers, and she said 3300. Experiment with this stuff, because that's how you come to a place of understanding. It's great having the knowledge and like learning this stuff from a mental perspective, but true wisdom comes from experimentation, from knowing this stuff and having experimented this stuff with myself, which I do, because it is a game of life, so it's all experimentation. And again, that makes it easier for me to be able to do the stuff that I do and deal and come face to face with like my shadow and other aspects and stuff of me, because ultimately I know that it all comes unconditional love. The parts of me that were the most wounded, and therefore the parts of me that were the most defensive, and therefore the parts of me that were attempting to keep me stuck in those self-sabotaging behaviours, which was just was self-abuse, basically. Self-abuse, the emotional eating and stuff like that was just all part of the self-abuse, self-sabotage, because I felt unloved and unworthy. I was caught in a trap of self-loathing without even realising it, and it was partially a self-made trap of self-loathing, but obviously due to traumatic experiences that had happened. But again, obviously those traumatic experiences, I do believe and I do feel and I do know that I had a hand in agreeing for some of those experiences to happen. Maybe not in the way that they did. I wouldn't necessarily known in the way that they were going to happen. So I feel, and I've come to understand it, that before I came to this incarnation, I never used to believe in reincarnation as well. I was spiritual, and I was open to the afterlife, if you like, and the fact that we're not just worm food when this all ends. And again, no judgment to anyone else's truth. It's whatever is true for you is perfectly perfect. But what's true for me is that there is, because I've had my own experiences and because of my grandmother and the family that I've grown up in and stuff, that I've had my own experiences with other energies. So I was always very open to that side. I've always been very open to understanding, everything. Like my favourite question when I was a child was why. Why? I know the answers to everything, and that's not changed. I still do, which makes complete sense as to what I'm doing now and who I am now. But so I need to take a drink of water. This energy is coming through fast. Whew. Water helps with the energy in motion. That's what it's doing at the moment. Its energy is moving. So I'd had, these experiences which helped me just to confirm that there is something other than just what I could see with my physical eyes. But yes, the self-sabotaging behaviours, which is was just emotional abuse. But the emotional abuse came from the fact that I, didn't think I was worthy. That's what I thought I was worthy of. So going before this incarnation, I believe there would have been a meeting, a gathering of myself, my soul, my higher aspect, and other aspects, the higher aspects, if you like, souls of other, parts of like mine, the karmic tribe, so the people that the beings that came in that were there to teach me something. And I don't really see it as in like teaching. I believe we're teaching ourselves. It's not God or source that are actually lessons, that are giving us lessons and stuff. We're giving ourselves lessons. And those lessons, if you like, those teachings, they're trainings, they're initiations, they're preparation. And all they're doing is there to wake you the F up to who you truly are. So for example, the last relationship that I had was very short and sweet in some ways. But it coincided, the length of time I was with that particular person coincided with the length of time I was with in a very highly abusive, extremely intensely abusive in all ways relationship over 25 years ago. And the timings, the length of time with that particular person, the length of time with this particular person was the same. And so I've been counselling, obviously, all sorts of, for this particular relationship way back when. And again, I don't regret what I went through, and I wouldn't change what I went through, because it was part of my awakening to myself journey, experiences. But in the incarnation, before I incarnated, I would have had possibly, so I feel I've come to understand it, would have had, there would have been, those particular people would have been included, those beings, those highest aspects, those beings would have been included in this gathering. And we would have agreed between us that, in this lifetime, it's more about relationships. So I need to experience some heartbreak, because through the experience of heartbreak is how I'm going to wake up to more of who I truly am, to more of my true self. And that's ultimately what it's all, my ears starting to ring, guidance coming through, thank you, is all part of this. Waking up to who I truly am is waking me up to what source truly is, to what God really is, to the fact that it is actually, the truth is love and love is truth. And that's all ultimately that there is. That we're meant divinely, our birthright, divinely we're meant to be destined, we're meant to be living at some point. It doesn't have to be this life, it's this life for me, and it'll be this life for others that are resonating with what I'm saying, but it may not be this life for everyone on the planet at this particular moment, and that is all perfectly perfect. I don't know that to be entirely true, and that's just how I come to understand it, but through this my awareness could be expanded, and there'll be a different perspective that will then become truth, and that's how it works. Things are forever changing. Truth is, the more that I go down this path, the more that I understand and believe and intend, lights flicker, thank you, that love is truth and truth is love, and I'm just going to keep on going with my heart and not question it, and just follow my heart with my intuition, my discernment, and allow that just to flow, the more that my awareness and perspective of these things, of the truth, is expanded. I'm given the gifts of this expanded awareness and the truth of love, and love is truth, because I'm rolling with what's come before, and I'm just allowing it to flow. Whoa. And sacred space, by the way, has already been open. This is a very sacred, safe space, by the way. My guides are my highest self, my inner self, my higher mind, my higher state of consciousness, my overself, my monadic self, my overself, all those Christ consciousness, Mother Mary consciousness, Mother, Father, God, Source, Creator, my guides, they're all here. Because they're here continuously with me. So this is a very sacred, safe space to be in. Whoa. This is the first time that I'm aware of how much energy is actually flowing. Whew. In a way that's easy. Grace, ease, love and flow in a way this physical vessel can handle, please. Might need to slow it down a little for me to be able to keep my human aspect, to be able to keep up. Whoa. Are we going to pause for a moment and we'll be back? And we're back. I had to take a breath and a moment. Whoa. Sometimes doing these things, the human body needs to adjust. Human body needs to adjust. I'm a bit of a fidget. I can be a bit of a fidget anyway. So this is just more adjustments. It's okay. Where was I? Yes, this is this meeting that took place between me and and I feel this happens for everyone. But again, this is my truth. So I can only speak about my journey, my truth, my journey so much. And obviously, if it resonates for you, then it might well be your truth too. But yeah, and I've heard this. This has not just come from one source, one external source, if you like, one place. It's come through many. And that's when I really start to pay attention, is when I get the same message being said by different guides. And yes, I had this meeting, like we say, maybe my potential parents, and other sort of important people, in the sense of they've helped me wake into more of my true self in some way, or the truth of love, truth of things in some way. And so I've had this meeting, and it would have been right. Okay, in this lifetime, it's about relationships for me. Is the overall arching theme, as I already mentioned. And so in this, what is going to help wake me up to more of my true self, and what I do prefer in my life, is going to be heartbreak is one in relationships. So therefore, my previous partner, gifted me the experience of heartbreak, in a way that obviously my human self wouldn't have been aware of. So surprise, as that's the greatest of awakenings, is when they happen where they're least expected, as a surprise. Even though it doesn't feel like a very nice surprise at the time. Surprise is supposed to be a positive thing, but going through that experience did wake me up to my true, to more of my true self. But what was the catalyst? What catapulted it even more for me was the fact that the energy that came through him at the time, and it was an energy that came through him. It was his not self, if you like. They call it in human design. We have a not self, and our not self is the aspect of us that he's projecting, he's displaying, and he's coming from the wounded space. So what happened is there was a wound within, and this is part of what my soul, my higher self, my inner self does. And I've always done this since I was a child, because of my vibrational frequencies. It's part of who I am, part of what I'm here to do. And I didn't know that then, but I know it now. It's why it explains why I see the world that I do. I see the world and perceive the world, interact with the world and experience the world through my heart. I'm a heart-based, heart-centered being. I always have been, even when my heart was covered in the heart wall. But I connect, and even more so now, I connect with people's hearts. I can feel their heart, even if it is in under a heart wall. I connect with their heart, I connect with their soul, I connect with that higher aspect of them, which then allows me to put like a rose, almost a rose tinted glassed layer over their actual human self. And again, that is shown because I always see the best in people. I experience through my heart, so I connect with the heart of all things. It's just, just who I am. It's part of my gift. What I'm here to do is to share from the heart, share via my heart, because that's where love comes through. Does it make sense? Yes. And so I did the same with him. So I'm able to through that, I'm able to kind of connect with or see past the facade, the mask that people put up. And again, this has been confirmed because of the things that people have said. And the only reason I'm talking about this is not from ego perspective to make me I'm special, because there are other I believe that anything that I'm able to do, others are able to do. We're all capable on some level of having the clear senses and stuff like that. I would have to be born with about half of them already switched on, and more coming online as it were. Some people are just born more open than others, and again, it's all perfectly perfect. That is just part of my human experience, but also my human not experience. My soul experience in the human vessel. That I'm in, excuse me. And so so there was a wounding that I could see, and what I could feel, not just see. I could feel it. I see. I see this stuff with my third eye, but I feel it with my third eye. So there'll be a vision that will come along with the feeling, and then it's connecting what I've realised. And for me to take this further, what I've been able to do is then I connect it through my heart. So I feel it, but I'll see it. So I feel it, see it. It's hard to explain, but that's how I've always done it. But so I could see this wounding that was within him, that was a blind spot to him. And because we were in a relationship, and because I thought for the long term at the time, even at that time, I think it was coming quite clear to both of us that it wasn't going to be long term. But we were still kind of, our human aspects of us were still caught in this. It's going to be for the long term scenario. And so because in the beginning, when we first got together, I would say things and offer opportunities, because what I do, plant part of my thing is to plant seeds within people, to get them to feel the truth of something, plant a seed and get them to feel the truth, and whether they accept it and choose to, feel it out then, or it's something for their higher self, inner self to hold on to, and later on. But that's part of what I do is planting seeds, so people can waken up to more of them true selves, and to more, I just think it was just about waking people up to love, but I think it's actually waking up to more of them true selves, because their true self is love. We're all love. And so I questioned something, a behaviour of his I questioned, and he was not ready to face that blind spot. And so I pushed, instead of listening, where that person, that being was at that particular time, I pushed. And it's no regret, because obviously it's brought me to me right here, right now, and to us obviously not being together anymore. But at that time I pushed, but from my heart. I'm doing this because it's ultimately with the interests, the best interest of the all. But also there was an ego, ulterior motive, because I knew that with that wounding being there, and without him being ready to, without him facing that wounding, that it was going to have an impact on our relationship, because it already had an impact on our relationship, and I could see that, and I could feel that, and I could see 4 or 5 steps ahead. Again, something I do, I'm able to see 4 or 5 steps ahead, that's possibly going to lead into trouble sometimes. And because I pushed, he reacted, because woundings, if there's a wounding, there'll be a part of us that's defending that wounding, and it will come out. It can come out as and sometimes, with in certain woundings with certain people, certain energies, the defense mechanism, best form of defense is attack. So he attacked verbally, and said some things to me which were not very nice, and were not from the heart, because it was tagged as part of the not self, this energy. And when that happened, in an instant, I was like, no, because that energy had already been displayed early on in the relationship, in a different way, and I'd been kind of promised that energy would never be displayed again. And now, why that particular human part of him, wasn't able to link those two together, because the energy felt, after a couple of hours of kind of reflect, I was like, no, right, that's it. And I left the situation, took myself out of the situation, and had a bit of reflection time on my own. And through that reflection time, I was able to link and feel the link between the energy that came through him at that time and the energy that was displayed in that violent relationship, the abusive relationship that I was in 25 plus years previous. The energy felt the same. It's all about the energy, it's not about the people, it's the energy. The energy was the same. And I was able to go, whoa, right, we've been here before. We know what that energy, where it ended up before, and there's a potentiality, if that energy is there, it's being displayed, this is the second time it's been displayed in this relationship, that it could be displayed again. And I know from this previous relationship that when that energy starts to be displayed, it doesn't get better, it gets worse, significantly worse, and we're not going through that again. So that was it. We washed out. We ended the relationship effectively, and I still don't know whether entirely with the human aspect of this person actually even understands exactly what went on. Part of me is maybe yes, maybe no, and that's maybe not for me to understand. That's for them. That's their opportunity. With me questioning that wounding that was there, questioning the behaviour, questioning the wounding, that was an opportunity for them if they'd chosen to. It was an opportunity for them for growth, for them to come to more awareness of who they truly are, for them to heal something within them if they'd chosen to, but they didn't choose to. And that's perfectly fine. And that just means that we're no longer together because our vibrations, our frequencies are different. Our awarenesses, our perspectives of self and truth and stuff like that is different. And so ultimately we can't be together because we're headed on different paths, ultimately. But I'm very grateful because he gifted me the experience of what I needed was to wake me up to more of my true self. Through that was an awakening of, I don't prefer this. I said before, 25 years plus ago, that I don't prefer this and I'm not going to go through this again. But yet this is being displayed. Let's have a look at that. Let's not look at it with my head, but have a look at it with my heart. Feel that out. Why have I attracted in, and why am I being attracted to a being that's still displaying energy that I've dealt with that I thought I dealt with 25 years ago, 25 plus years ago? Why is that coming up again? Because there's something else deeper for me to feel into and have a look at. And that's what the outside world is trying to show us, more about our internal. It's the internal display is displayed on the external. And again, I've heard that from so many different people. In techniques, I say everyone is singing from the same hymn sheet, if you like. Just they're using different words. It's done by a different technique, a different modality. But even in all the different cultures and stuff, like it's the deities and stuff, and the ascended masters, they're cross-cultural. It'll be Kuan Yin in one particular culture, and it'll be a different name in a different culture. But they're all linked. They're all the same. It's the same energy. It's just different interpretations. Maybe they appeared differently to different human beings at the time in different cultures, depending on what that each individual being at that time, that culture, if you like, the individual culture, that group of culture. If you look at it as all individual sort of groups of cultures, what was most benefit was going to be of most benefit for each individual culture, for each individual person. So it's all of these things are like someone's own interpretation of what is truth and what is love. And that's why, a big part of what I've had to come to realise is I was a being that's always wanted to be, because I can feel other people's energy, so I can feel if they have resonance with me or not. So 80% of the stuff that I walk around with now, I realise through human design, is not my feeling, is not my fear, it's not stuff, it's not mine. It's other people's stuff that I'm feeling. And when you walk around like that, and I protect myself, I bound myself up, but that doesn't stop that. There's no off switch for me with that. That's just, I was born that way, but it's a gift. It's not, and it's not a weakness. It's not something to be fearful of, which is, it's not something to feel wrong about, which I've been made to feel my whole entire life. It's been made to feel wrong for the fact that I feel everyone else's stuff, as if some way that just because someone else wasn't born with that I'm wrong for having been born with that. No, it's my super gift. It's a gift. It's a super gift. It's a superpower. Being able to do that, because it's now why I'm able to go, what really is mine and what isn't mine. What am I really going to sit in, and what am I going to know is truth for me, because I know it's mine. What's out there is not truth for me, because it's not mine. It's what's allowed me to really be able to come to know thyself, which is the most important relationship of all. Most important knowing is know thyself, because when I know myself, when I know thyself, when I truly know thyself, I'm truly knowing, because as a being of love, I is truly knowing God. I is truly knowing Source, because we are a spark of God. We are a spark of Source. We are created by by Source, creator of all that is. That's where we come from, and that for me it's unconditional love. And that's ultimately, that for me, is where we're all going to come. We will ultimately come from, where we're ultimately going to go back to. So there is nothing else. So transcending, if you like, the good, the bad, the evil, the ugly, and all that kind of stuff. For me, it's just all love. It's 5600, and it's a balance. When I'm coming to that place, for me, it was coming into that place of blissful harmony, joyful serenity, alignment and connection with thyself, that I was able to truly feel the unconditional love. And that love is, it's the most wondrous, beautiful, magical, miraculous feeling. But I never would have been able to get to that place of feeling that unconditional love, or even allowing myself to feel that, or believe that really actually exists, without having been wounded, allow myself to be wounding so to the point of almost not being here. This journey of coming back to the heart is not for the faint-hearted. It's for the strong at heart. For me, I've always said that kindness and vulnerability, they're not weaknesses. Being able to be vulnerable and as open as I am now, and stay as connected to my heart as I am now in every present moment as much as I possibly can, and it's a choice and it's a decision that I make. And I know that the reason that I was trying to say, it's all about being happy and joy and stuff. It's not just about being happy. It's about being as, because for me, happy joy is love. When we're truly connected and aligned in that energy, and it's a balanced, it's a harmonious energy. It's not the chaotic happiness. I'm really happy, because I didn't realise that at the time, but excitement can mask anxiety. There's a lot of emotions and stuff that can mask other things. Resentment can be masking anger. That's one of the ones that I used to be, and I never realised. I've never said that myself was an angry person, but there's resentment that I was holding on to, that I had, that was part of woundings and stuff, and that was the outer layer, if you like, of the woundings. There was the wounding, there was anger, and that was resentment, and then resentment was masking anger. And it wasn't until I was able to realise that and get that I was able to then fully release that anger, and the wounding was able to then, the actual feeling of pain and hurt and whatever was wrapped up in that was the wounding, the core wounding, was able to then really be able to be felt within my body. And I was able to then embody that, in the sense of transmute that, not just release it, but transmute that and transform that. And therefore I was then transformed, my perspective was transformed, my awareness was transformed, my energy transformed, and embody more love, more light, more truth, and then realize more about how free I actually am, because I'm free in that knowing of truth. But there's a harmony. Can you feel the harmony behind that? when I say those words, and that's what I mean. That's the true alignment. That's the true connection with, within my heart, being embodied in, grounded into my body, grounded into my body. So I'm feeling the whole of my physicalness, but balanced and aligned and connected in my heart in such a way that it feels harmonious. And that is my core frequency. My core frequency is my natural frequency is love. But having other people's, having those traumatic experiences, but holding on to that, and having those other people's bullshit and stuff and judgments and things. Like I say, I was always one of those children that's just walking around just dancing in my own little daydream fairy tale world. And again, I was always told that, stop showing off, it's not all about you, and be quiet, suppress. And with children, we're told that a lot, to suppress, 60-11, to suppress what we're feeling. So we're not allowed to feel. So I wasn't allowed to feel the stuff that didn't feel good, the negative stuff, if you like, stuff that didn't feel good when I was in pain. Shut up, be quiet, stop crying, or soothed. I was soothed a lot with food, hence the reason the emotional eating disorder, substance abuse that I was caught in from a big part of my life as old versions of me, not anymore, old versions of me. And excuse me, I've just let off some sage, you see, when I had that little break, and so it's now a little bit smoky in here. I might have to open a window, but it's freezing outside. I don't really want to, but I might have to. So train of thought, come back. Yes, I was the daydreaming child. Thank you very much. So that's been brought back to me then. Thank you very much, my inner self, my higher self, my guides. And so yeah, I was told, like, so I was soothed, so I wasn't allowed to, and again, this is just because, parents, again, taught by their parents, it's learnt behaviour. We're not taught how to emotionally regulate. An animal, if you look at an animal in the wild, after a zebra's been chased by a cheetah or whatever, the jaguar or whatever animal, it's coming through too quickly to just try and interpret all of this and actually come up with all the correct analogies. But when an animal is being chased by a predator, it's easy, thank you. What they do afterwards, when it's not being caught, if it's not being caught, it will shake itself off, because that's releasing the energy, because emotion is energy, it's energy in motion. And so that will be releasing this, therefore that wounding, or that stress of that being chased by that predator, but yet not being able to caught, it's just kind of shaking it off, and now we're back to an aligned, balanced frequency state, energy state, where our body's not just caught, our nervous system isn't caught in the stress of what's just happened to us. And that's what we do as humans. We don't allow that to be worked through. We're kind of forever stuck. Our nervous system, our emotional state is stuck. Our energetic state is stuck in the traumas of what happened to us previously. Because those woundings have not been, and the energy, the emotion behind those woundings have not been allowed to be fully felt within our system, because we're told to suppress it in some way. We're told to soothe it in some way. So I was, on both angles, I was told to, to soothe with food, and suppress the feelings that weren't feeling good, whether it was pain, fear, hurt, whatever those feelings were. But also at the same time, whenever I was dancing around in la daydream fairy tale land, or I was told to stop showing off, and it's not all about me, to be quiet. So I was suppressed on both sides. The stuff that I was feeling that wasn't good was suppressed, and the stuff that was feeling that was good was suppressed. And again, there's no judgment to anyone that did that. They were coming from their own learnt behaviour, from their own trauma, from their own woundings. And me being the happier disposition, the people that I grew up with, were on complete different. I was born with a different energetic frequency than those around me, as was part of the plan, my plan, the divine plan. Because that's what was going to give me the greatest challenges, the greatest insights, and the greatest, therefore, training to be waken up to who I truly am later on in life, in this life. And that's exactly what happened. So perfectly grateful for all that has come to pass. All is forgiven. I am grateful, not regretful for all of that, because I am who I am now, because partly because of all of that, and I'm blessed, and I thank the people that were there with me, that gave me the gifts of waking up to who I truly am, and what I do prefer and what I do not prefer. The musical chimes in the background are just another confirmation that what I'm saying is truth. Thank you very much. There's a beautiful being that I've come to work with that works with me quite a lot, and it's walking alongside me and walking alongside many others on this path, and I feel I'm one of the ones that are responsible for dinging the chimes outside, so thank you very much for that. And I get confirmation of that because I just get this lovely rush of energy of just love that just runs through my whole body. And sometimes it's nice to just take a breath and feel, because we don't take a breath and feel into our bodies, into these sensations. They're not just our bodily sensations, they're our body reacting to an energy around us. It's a communication, basically. Communication. My body's communicating, saying that yes, there is energies around me that are communicating to me that what I'm speaking is truth, and the fact that they are there, they're letting me know that I'm not alone, that we're never alone, that yes, they are walking alongside me along this path of serving the divine, of serving and sharing love and light. And so because of these all the stuff that I've been through, and all this group of gathering of beings, and then very kindly gifting me with all these different experiences, of which at the time I did not prefer, but which I know now were partly what I had chosen for myself to wake me F up, to me here and now, and to me future here and now me's. I realised that it's all coming full circle, and it's all exactly as is meant to be, and was divinely planned, and it's all happened in divine timing. And for me, the realisation I came to, the truth of divine timing recently, was divine timing is when we're ready, in accordance with the divine plan. So again, this, for example, this last relationship, and I talk about it just because it fascinates me, and it's made sense of a lot of different things. So how it makes sense of, like, that this old energy every now and then is going to try and flip up, and it's going to flip up in the people around me, and I've seen that in other people as well, and it's a conflict in energy, and that is the old energy. It's not just the old energy that's just my old energy. It's not, it's the collective old energy, conflict energy. Anyway, it's a whole different rabbit hole. But what was fascinating is I was able to, this particular person, able to witness with my own eyes, my own human senses, as well as my clair senses and all the rest of it, how someone can change. Like, they morphed into different people when I was with them. And I feel that it's happened with others, but not so blatantly, in a sense. Like, they were a person when I first met them, and they were actively I don't come into someone, I know now, I don't come into someone's life unless they're unless it's of benefit. The divine works through me, and always has, and I didn't realise this. And again, this shows by the fact that more and more I'll go around and I will trigger other people now. And this, going back to a conversation, that's something, a tangent I started a little while ago about planting the seeds and stuff, and so feeling whether someone likes me or not. So I would go out of my way to be, and this happens with a lot of people that I've got a superpower of feeling other people and feeling the energies, not just other people, but the energies around in the ether, because there's energies everywhere. And again, that's something that's been proven in science. This invisible matter that we all live in, that actually makes up the majority of the matter in the world. But that's all things that you can go and your own research into before I take you down those rabbit holes. And so I would go out my way to ensure, being a being of love, I just want everyone to experience love, and therefore I just want to go around in a bubble of love. I want everyone else to be walking around in a bubble of love. So how do you do that? By just bending over backwards and putting other people's needs and interests and stuff way above your own, so that way people always love you and like you. Especially when all you've ever wanted is love. Because we've been unaware then that one place we can get true love from is from within. It's not out, from without, it's from within. And again, this is not stuff that we're taught. It's stuff I have to kind of go and find out for ourselves. So that's part of my, my path. That's been on my path, is finding out for myself with the help of my friends. And so I would, sort of bend over backwards to help others. And so one of the big realizations I've had to kind of come to is that when I'm shining as this true, embodied, inner self, higher self part aspect of me, when that is really allowed to come through as it is more and more, and shine that divine light and love and the truth of that out into this world for whoever needs to see. And I don't question whoever needs to see it. This will be seen and felt by those that divine, is for the highest good, best divine intentions of the all. That is my intention. It's always about uplifting and empowering others. And if it's not something that particular being can resonate with here and now, if they're seeing it and watching it and hearing this and feeling this, then it'll be something that either is for them right here and now, or it'll be something where a seed is planted with their higher state consciousness, and it'll be for another version of them at some point in another different present now. But I don't question that anymore. I just go with that. I surrender to that. I have faith in that. I trust in that, because I trust in the divine. I trust in my higher self. I trust in the divine. I trust in my guides, because they've always been there for me. They've always been serving for me, with me, alongside me, for the highest, greatest, best, good, divine intentions of the all. Whew. Sometimes I just need to say those words because it feels so good saying them. And so, but I've had to come to it and let go of the idea of that everyone is going to like me and love me, and be okay with that, and actually be okay with that, and know that is nothing personal. If someone is triggered by something that I am saying, because the energy that is coming through with what I am saying, and it's meant to trigger, because that triggering is the waking up, it's the choice. Like when I triggered the last guy I was with, that was a triggering. He had a choice in that moment. Are you gonna look at this? Are you gonna feel this out? Are you gonna acknowledge the fact there is something there that is holding you back in your life? Because it's a wounding. Woundings hold us back. They become detrimental. They're not for our benefit. They're for our benefit in the beginning. There's a wounding, there's a limiting belief. It's there protecting us in some way. But at some point it becomes detrimental, and it's self-sabotaging. It's a self-abuse, whatever it is. We're allowing it to harm. It becomes harmful to us, detrimental to us, to our own being. And in that moment, you have a choice of: are you going to wake the F up? Are you going to look at this? Are you going to feel this? Are you going to face this? And because it seems so scary, and it never is as scary as our ego mind would have us believe, it's not. And I've faced enough of this to know now that it's never as scary. And I'm not saying I'm completely done with facing it all. Who knows? But I know I have faced a lot, and again, I've been gifted the confirmations of this from my guidance, from my ancestors, from the high vibrational energies that I connect with, etc. To know, and that in my own body tells me that yes, I'm speaking the truth. But in that instance, he had, that was planting a seed. That was a triggering, and that was planting a seed. Whether he faced it, face it then, or whether he faced it in 10 years' time, who knows? But there was a seed that was planted, and I know that part of my frequency here is the reason it's felt so much, the reason I've always had so much attention, even when I'm trying not to have attention and be the wallflower. There was no wallflower for me. My energy, because of my energy, my energetic frequency, what I was born with, what I came with into this life, was to be seen, was to be felt, was to be heard in some way, was to be felt in some way, because that is what's going to help. That's what's the most benefit. That is the divine working through me in the way that I agreed, my soul agreed, my high state consciousness agreed, when I come down to this planet to help raise the collective consciousness in whatever way I am being guided to by my heart, by the divine, the way the divine wishes to have that energy and my energetic frequency be used for the greatest, highest good benefit of all. And I don't know, my human self, my ego mind doesn't know the best way of doing that. So it's where the trust and the faith has to come in, and allowing this to come through, and that it will be seen, felt and heard by those that it is gonna have the most benefit for the collective all, because all about everything I do is about uplifting and empowering. And I know that my journey has all been about going from self-loathing to self-love, and from self-love to source love, and that's where I sit now. It's source love more and more, because I have the trust, because I have the faith, because I have trust and faith in not just in me, and I mean me as in my higher state of consciousness, my soul, my heart, my body, but also, in what I feel coming from what I know as the divine. And for me, divine is angelic, it's God, it's source, it's Christ consciousness, it's Mother Mary consciousness, it's Mother, Father, God, it's source creative, all that is. It's the unconditional, the highest vibrational frequency, energy of unconditional love and light that comes from creation itself. That to me is all. When I say divine, I encompass the whole lot of that. It's all the ascended masters, it's all the goddesses and gods. As a collective, they all have their own individual, as we are all part of the collective, we all have our own individual energetic frequency at the same time. And all I've done is just cleared enough of the woundings, healed up enough of those scars, to the point of I feel the heart, I'm able to connect, the heart wall is gone. It's so much more connected and open to allow through those divine high vibrational energies and the connection of that, then it can come out to be shared with others. But when you do that, I never realised how much then I'm going to become so much more aware of the triggerings that can bring for others. And those triggerings sometimes, if those beings are not ready to face that blind spot wounding, then what they do is they'll project. And then you have to kind of learn, and that's been part of the learning process of not taking things personally. So now it's a case of going, right, so someone is saying something. Now, am I being triggered? Is it bringing up something within me that's signifying to me that there is still a bit of wounding there in some particular area? Because I'm feeling an emotional reaction, the trigger, an emotional reaction to what they're saying. I'm taking what they're saying personally, because it's not a personal attack. They're speaking from their own pain. It just so happens that something, and sometimes it could just be walking into the room. So I'm just walking, I spent a lifetime with my, bless her, so much love to you, Mum, with my mother. When I'd walk into a room, when I'm in that energetic frequency flow of that high vibration, because our energetic frequencies are different. My mother's on a lower vibrational frequency, and there's no judgment, there's just where she is out her path in this lifetime, and that is perfectly fine, and that is all part of the divine plan. But I was not born as a higher vibrational frequency. So then when I'd walk into a room, and my mother, and it's only recently became very aware of this in the last few years, that I'd start talking, and I know that when I speak sometimes it can be really fast, the energy's coming through, it's coming through fast, and so I talk 100 miles an hour, and that can be much. And I get that. I didn't beforehand. I didn't get that because I was a child. But I'd walk in like, my little sunshine daydreaming, happy like world, just all like, just full pelt, woof, energy. Because I didn't know how to close it down then. I didn't know any different. My mother would go, yes. But the yes and the what, the way that I, my child heard it, was like a, what do you want? You've taken up my time bothering me. And it's kind of how my child took it, and my sweet little innocent child me took that. But really what was happening was my mother was having to prepare herself for the in-force of my energy coming in and hitting her like a ton of bricks. And I never knew that. So through seeing these triggerings that my energy does in these other people that are around me, and sometimes being able to more and more witness that when I go into certain situations with certain other energies or certain other beings and stuff, and I have that full force of my energy, I'm fully connected, fully aligned, as much as more than I ever have been before, and that is, I'm allowing that all to come through. That energetic field is powerful, it's immense, and that can be felt. And so to walk into those rooms and it's like, whoa, other people have got to kind of take a step back, because it's it's powerful stuff in the sense of like there's a lot of light and love there. Not everyone can deal with that. Not everyone is wanting or prepared to interact with that, and that is perfectly fine. But then that will cause triggerings in other people. That will cause it will bring up shadows in others. What does the light do? The light shines a light on the shadows. It shines a light on the dark, if you like. You turn on a light and everything, all that kind of stuff just disappears. But it shines it because it shines a light on it, so it will trigger other things in other people. And I've experienced it the way around as well with other people. I listen to it. It's triggered something inside me, so I get it now because I've seen both perspectives, and that's how we can truly get something. So we can see things more different, a multitude of different perspectives, and that's having an expanded awareness, being able to see things and understand things more from a different multitude of different perspectives. It's probably one of the longest videos I've ever done. So I know it's not going to be watched by all. It'll be watched, and if you're still with me, then welcome to my energetic frequency and the energetic frequency of the divine. Welcome to truths, maybe told in a different way, although there are other beings that I've come across that that are saying, that sharing the same truths or similar truths, maybe just in their own words in a different way. Like one of them says all the time, and it kind of blew my mind when they said this. Blew my body and woke my body. Blew my mind and woke my body up. Good is God. And I know, going back to a tangent I started in the beginning of when I was trying to say to particularly my family, I'd be like, it's all about just being happy. And they'd be like, what? Life is just about being happy. What are you talking about? No, life is about hard. Mum's very much. Life is about hard work. You've got to struggle to be successful, which is a limiting belief that I'm, working in my subconscious at the moment, which is obviously why it's come up. Because that is one of the things, you've got to struggle. And one of the great things I got from my mum is the love of learning, the love of evolving. I love to learn. It's a passion. I actually enjoy this stuff. I enjoy the self-development stuff and learning everything that I can, that I'm interested in. And I get that, partly get that from my mum. My mum's a lifelong learner, same as myself. And it's also great because it means that we can have more of a student, and we go back to that student mindset, because there is always more to learn, there's always more to evolve into, there's always more to discover and explore. And again, that helps me being the more, open to the other people's perspectives, because I only know from my perspective ultimately. It's just when I'm connecting into a greater perspective than my own ego mind that this stuff can kind of come through. And even sometimes I'll speak this stuff and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I hadn't seen it that way before, because it's not my ego mind that's speaking. It's coming from my heart, but my brain has to interpret it, obviously, to speak the words. But it's coming. That's why I say when I kind of go above, it's because it's coming from the divine, and to me, divine is up. And if you look at the high, just look at the emotional scale of things, or the vibrational frequency scale of things. Love is up. It's top, up. But it's through the heart that it's felt. So I spent a lifetime, and I never realised what this. So it made sense to me that when I realised that, and I had this inner child healing work, and I had that realisation that is the energy that I was met with, the behaviour that I was met with whenever I would kind of open my mind as a kid to kind of speak. Maybe not all the time, but enough for me to remember it, a part of me remember it and feel it. And I took that as in like, oh, I shouldn't, I'm too much. Whoa, the realisation that, I'm too much, my energy is too much, 122. What I'm saying, what I'm speaking, who I am, it's too much. And I caught it because my mother still does it, bless her. But I know now that it's her stuff, it's not my stuff. It's not for me to take personally anymore, because it's not my stuff. I can only be who I am. And I know who I am more and more than I have ever done before. And I'm comfortable, and I have accepted, and I love who I am in this moment right here now. This me shining as brightly and as rainbow coloured and as sparkly as I am, that is fully invested in the world of sunshine and rainbows, or unicorns and roses, where the world is good, because that is God. And that love is all there is. And I, wholeheartedly, my whole being believes and knows that to be true, because I have lived that before. And I know that to be truth too. that this is really me. This is who I am. This is, it's never not been who I am. I may have dimmed it a lot. I may have tried to suppress it. I may have tried to hide. I may even try to run from it at various stages in this lifetime and in others. And there is none of that anymore, because I love who I am. And it can trigger whoever it triggers. I don't care, because that's not for me. That's not for me to care. It's not my business. That's not for me to take on anymore. That's not for me to help others transmute their shit anymore. That's not my job, my role, if you like, or my me, not my job, my role, but who I am right now is just to share this stuff and just to live my life in the way that I choose to live it, which is in love, which is, understanding the truth of abundance, which is, abundance is, I had this other person, the energy reader, trying to say, what was it, people are saying about trying to live, I can't remember what they said about abundance, but it really resonated, that we're trying to live as if abundance is abundance is the feeling, but it's not the thing that we're trying to achieve. So for me, when and the way that I understood it was like, okay, we're trying to say that I want to be abundant, but abundant in what? That was it. Abundant in what? Abundance is the feeling, but it's not the thing. I can choose to feel abundant, but what do I want to feel abundant in? Well, I want to feel abundant in all positive, in all things that I prefer, in all things that I want, in all things that I desire. That's what I want to be abundant in. So I want to be abundant in love. I want to be abundance in joy. I want to be abundance in sunshine and rainbows. I want to be abundance in finances, because it's through those, having the financial means not only benefits me, it will benefit the collective all, because there's a lot of collective stuff that I want to be able to do. And that brings me on to another reason that I wanted to do this live, is because I'm going to put an intention out there. I've just recently been setting up a Just Giving page, which is to do with the business that have in the process of setting up, although it's been registered, but it's kind of been setting up. It's been a bit of a slow burning process, but it's coming to fruition now, shall we say. A Just Giving page, part of the business for me, or part of what I'm here to do, is to travel and share, because through me living my life is how I'm going to inspire others. Is how we can inspire others the most, is by living our lives, and by others witnessing us living a certain way. We never learn. We learn the best. Even children learn the best through experience. Trial and error, through action. That's why I say experiment with ourselves. That's why I experiment with myself, because that is my trial and error. I get to know really what feels good for me by living that, by experimenting, by trying these things, by doing these things, not trying, by doing these things or not doing these things, and I get to feel, or by doing these things, and I get to feel, or not doing it, and then I get to feel how that really feels for me. Then I know. Then that's my wisdom, is through the experimentation. So by me living my life the way that I choose and desire, following my heart, grounding into my body, following my heart, my divine path, by me living that is more transforming, because it's going to be more inspiring in a sense, by being that living inspirational example, living my life from my heart, following my divine guidance, is going to bring about more change and transformation and more awakening for those that are witnessing that, than me just speaking and sharing and talking and saying these things. You have to live it. And also it's where I'm going to have the most fun and the most joy, and therefore the most love, and the most of the abundance of all the things I desire, and that I've built up in my divine vortex. So part of this Just Giving, the realisation I had was part of it's, one thing's, for years I've been hearing confirmations about, there's going to be something that's come back that you really wanted to do in your childhood that you were never able to give an opportunity to do. It had to be put on the back burner. And I went for many of these things. Singing for me is like very musical, even though that my voice is is impacted at the moment. But I do have another YouTube channel, performance channel, which has only got 2 songs now. I'm sure I had 3. Obviously, one's got taken out, so I'll have to look into that. But I'll be putting more stuff out there, and some other platforms and stuff that I want to go on, where I want to be actually want to be doing like live music stuff, because I is very musical. I've denied my creative visionary is a term that was given to me recently, and that feels like, whoa, that's a lot for my human, but it is a term. Inspired ideas and stuff, I put the energies and stuff into what I create. It's that flow state, and I'll show some of the stuff that I've created, because these are going to be things that I need to, I've been told to stop holding this stuff for myself. It needs to be shared. It's been created to be shared. And it's more about, I think the holding it is more about not just I'm holding it for myself, but it's the fear. So this is a way of kind of bust through those fears, and I'll share that in a minute. But the musical side of the musical has always been a very, very big aspect. For me, music is emotion. It's been there, a big part of my life. Many different artists, many different songs, and I kind of put it on the back burner because it was because I needed to be feeling things in a different way. Rather than for music, it became a bit of like it just needed to be different. But now I'm bringing it back. So that'll be something that's coming to it. What was I going to about music? So the travelling. So I was like music, like singing. That's my feeling. That's music for me. It's a big passion of mine, a big joy. It brings me joy, passion, along with other sort of various things. But travelling was one of the things that I always wanted to do when I was a child. I was always in my own head daydreaming, exploring faraway places, and I never really got a chance to do that. I've only ever been to the place where I was born in a different country, which is in Europe, and I've only ever been to one or two places within Europe in this lifetime. And so travelling is a big, and there's some inspired ideas that have come through about me travelling to places, to sacred places, for various reasons. And so I was kind of like, okay, just giving page so I can try and raise financial funds, as a means of doing this, to be able to share and inspire more, by actually going to these places physically, and meeting people there and having experiences and interactions and stuff there. And I trust that it'll all be guided. It's part of my divine plan. It's part of my divine path. And those that are there will be there. That the people, the beings that I meet will be there. That I need to part of helping the collective all. So part of this Just Giving page is the financial means. But then I had an inspired idea this morning that we're coming to a world where I heard this person say energy, and I love it. It's home, it's heaven on Mother Earth, and I was like, that just again was another one of those mind blown, like light bulb moments for me. Heaven on Mother Earth. And I was like, yeah, home. That's what we came here to do. We came here to create, and to help others see and feel that truth, that heaven on Mother Earth, but the heaven or the other, and that is created with our own mind. It's what we create ourselves, and that's truth for me. And again, hearing that was just, it's a confirmation for me of truth. So this travelling thing, I was like, it's not just going to be about the finances. I was going to put it out there on my Just Giving page that for this to be seen, felt and heard by those, on my Just Giving page, to be seen, felt and heard by those that have the means to be able to help me realise that dream, that divine dream of being able to travel around to these sacred places as divinely guided, for the collective benefit of all. I don't know exactly what I'll be doing at these places when I get there. I have an idea for some oracle card decks, books. I'm sure there'll be paintings, there might be photographs. It's just going to be creative stuff when I'm in these places, and creative stuff that I'll then be able to share with the collective all, but also going to these places and meeting these people to help plant these seeds and bring people together. I've always been about, in my group of friends, in my social circles, I is one of those my friends have said to me before, and I've heard people say this, and this is like, again, not ego speaking, but I've heard people say it, and the reason I've been able to hear people, have been meant to hear people say it, is so that I can come to that realisation. It's a confirmation, communication to me that, yes, you do this. Be aware this is one of the things that you do, because then now I'm aware that this is one of the things that I'm meant to do, is bring people together. And the people, my friends, turn and say to me, you're the reason that, there was this, when I used to go out socialising and stuff, there'd be like these little groups of people, and I was always like talking to, I love meeting new people, socialising, meeting new people, connect with people. I said how I connect with people, and I'd bring those people into this little group, because it was the idea of that the more people that go out and have this family feel, the more people that know everyone, the better it's going to be for everyone, because everyone's going to feel it become like a family vibe. It becomes like a family environment. There's love there. Because everyone knows everyone, so everyone cares about everyone, and that's what you used to do. So it's all about bringing people together, community together. That's how we, it's about unity consciousness, and it's collective consciousness, unity, community, and unity consciousness is unity, community. It's about bringing people together, like-minded, heart-based beings together. So I know that by going travelling to these places, that's what will happen. Is I'll meet other like-minded tribe people, spiritual tribe people, and we'll collaborate, we'll bring together, we'll do whatever is divinely guided to help empower and uplift the collective all. So it's putting this out there. So if you've made it this far and you can assist, or you have an idea, or what I say touches you, inspires you in some way, please get in contact. On my YouTube channel there is a link tree, which has got all my contact information, and other offerings and sharings and stuff that I do, and that more will be added to. I've got a magpie that is calling in the background in the trees behind where I am. And then we have a robin as well. Robins are beautiful spiritual birds. Have you ever listened to a robin bird song? They've got so many different bird songs. It's truly amazing. They sing to my heart when I listen to a robin. It's like singing to my heart. It's beautiful. And if there's anyone that's a budding musician, or that wants to look at my YouTube channel, my performance YouTube, which is Sunny R Lotus, from Sunny Ray Lotus, sunshine, sunny rays, and lotus is a flower of enlightenment. It's a beautiful flower. That and sunflowers are my favourite flowers. And just a little tip. Red roses are the highest vibrational frequency flower that exists, that I've been told about anyway, and I feel that, so I include that in a lot of these self-care products and stuff that I create for myself and others as gifts. And I feel like this is coming to an end now. I'm feeling called to pull a card. Everyone loves a card reading. I'm feeling called to pull a card. Let me go and find out what card deck to pull. I shall be back. Hello, I'm back again. Oh, fabulous. So I was just trying to download this this book to go with a guidebook to go with a pack of cards that I purchased. These ones are just little ones. They're called Angel Whisper cards, although that's back to front, I know, so you can't really read that. But there's like but they're really lovely. They're all like numbers, and yeah, they're just nice. I like what it says on them. So we're gonna pick what would be of most benefit for the collective all right in this present moment. Oh, there we go. And that's what I tend to wait for, is one for just to jump out. So 15. Right, so I'm trying to download this file, and it's telling me that it's downloading it, and then it stops. I don't know, I have to get it somehow else. Anyway, we'll have a look at that in a minute. Right, so this is 15, creativity. Angels say, keep Keep accessing the creative connection that you feel to the divine. The whispers speak through your creative connection, allowing you to express the beauty that is within you and connect you to the love that is around you. See, what have I just been saying? What have I just been saying? It's confirmation that it's truth. Affirmation: creativity is my birthright. As I express my creativity, I feel a beautiful flow of love and connection. And that's exactly right. I'm still got the flow. So athletes have it. They've got the athletic zone. Creatives, there's a creative flow. And that's, for me, that's all it is we're connecting into, in that creative flow, I'm connecting into the divine. You know, it's a joy, it's a passion for me to create things. I enjoy it, but I stop myself doing it a lot because I didn't feel worthy enough, because I didn't feel good enough, because I didn't feel like my creations were going to be good enough. And I'm going to share some of my creations with you in a minute, because this is, like I said, I've been going guidance about sharing them for a long time, and haven't. So now I'm freely going to share them, and they'll be for whoever resonates with them. So if you wish to purchase or you wish to commission, I just dropped the card. Oh no, where did that go? Commission me to. Oh, that's interesting. The card has just disappeared. Literally has just disappeared. Commission me to. It's starting download. It keeps saying starting download and then nothing's happening. I'm probably going to get 20,000 of these. Slight exaggeration. Where did this card go? Well, my apologies. I'm just searching for this card because I know I dropped one because I felt it drop. Like I felt it fall past my hip. That's very weird. Things like this happen sometimes. Things drop and they just seem to literally just disappear. Like they've just fallen into another dimension. Where's that gone then? And then I kind of spend some time kind of looking around going, right, where's it gone? And then I have to ask my... And that one dropped. I felt it drop. I felt it land by my feet. This is very... Where's it gone? Well, that's obviously one for just me. Because it is just completely... And where I am is not the biggest of places. Not like there's a huge amount of space for it to disappear. Sometimes it is just like things drop into. I know. It's like the beam in a triangle. Just drops into somewhere else. I just don't know where. So we'll find that. We'll find out when I turn the camera off, and at some point I'll put intention out there. I'd like that. Excuse me. I'd like that to come back to me, please. That card, and it will when it's meant to. So okay, maybe I need a big tray or something beneath my feet. Oh, there we go. There's one beneath my lap. Soul craft. So that is just what we're doing. When we're connecting to that creative flow, and you'll feel it when you connect to that, you'll feel it. And I connect to my creative flow, if you like. I connect to the divine in many different ways. Often I found that inspired ideas, they pop into my head. It's not me thinking about. I'm thinking about saying, brushing my teeth. Oh, my little daydreaming world. And Abraham Hicks will turn around and say that's when those things can often happen. Is when the divine, our guides and stuff, can communicate with us. The easiest is when we're not thinking about what it is. So we're not wrapped in. We're not attached. We're not focused on what it is we're desiring or whatever it is. We think about something completely and utterly random, because our energy is relaxed, our focus is relaxed off. This is what we're holding so tightly onto and wanting so much, desiring, wanting so much, that we're kind of all focused on that, and it's very hard for the communications and stuff to then get through to us. And I said popped into my head, but it isn't. It's obviously, it comes from my heart. But it's like the idea pops into my head, but I feel it with my heart. That's how I know it's an inspired idea. And that'll happen obviously when I'm brushing my teeth or doing something else. I'm in my own little sort of like daydreamy world, just not really thinking about anything. La 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 la. And so, oh, where'd that come from? Oh, it's like a light bulb moment, as I call it. Comes with Despicable Me. I love that film. I love children's films. There's something so innocent and amazing and fun just to connect with that part of us. But yeah, so soul craft. That is what I'm doing. That's what we are doing. We're connected to the creative flow. And having those creative visions. And that's what a creative visionary is I'm just bringing through energies and stuff within my creations. So it's soul craft. I'm crafting from the soul. Oh, I love how this stuff works. They're just confirmations. The cards are confirmations from what everyone is saying, which is just a confirmation of God, of source, of blah blah blah. So I'll need to find out what. I'm gonna have to do that on my computer, I think, because it's really not allowing me to download it on here for some unknown reason. I keep saying download, and it says starting download, and then it doesn't do anything. I'm not entirely sure why. I'll turn you off for a minute. Maybe that's why. So we're just going to try and download one more time because I'd like to read. No, definitely is not letting me download on my phone. Very odd. Okay. Let me just see if I can get it without. There we go. I need to get the book myself really than that, to be honest with you, I think. Can I just read it? Can I read it somewhere without having to... if I can find the book, I'll buy the book. Okay, we're obviously not meant to know. Oh. I found something. But yeah, Soulcraft, I mean, okay, we're not going to worry about the guidebook so much because it's taking far too long. And there's another card reader that I listen to, and they just use the cards as confirmation, which is kind of how I use them anyway. I will go and read what the book says for myself. And if anybody else wants to, oh, there you go. You want to go and do? Come on. You want to go and do that for you? Oh no, come here, card. You want to go and do that for you? What? What? Right, there was another card from another deck that's literally just fallen on the floor, and I had it in my hand. I felt it in my fingers, and that too now seems to have disappeared. This is. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, if that really had been the case, I'd have been like, right, Kate, no. Crazy things happening. This is my life. Welcome to the weird and wonderful, miraculous, magical world. That is my life. I love it. And yeah, so that particular card deck, the one that I said I was going to try with the guidebook, it's called The Secret Language of Light by Denise Jarve. Transmissions from Your Soul. It's a very beautiful deck, and each particular card is like an activation in itself, like it's all, beautiful pictures like sacred geometry and stuff. So yeah, and that was number 10. Oh, number 10. Endings, beginnings, lovely. So that was that one. Next one is, so this is a mudra deck, which is, I never got until recently the importance or the impact that mudras, which mudras are just hand gestures, can have on us, to our physical, on our actual being, whole being. And it wasn't until I was in a yoga class, and I mentioned about some other videos, but just in case, I was in a yoga class and the yoga teacher got us to do the lotus mudra, which is literally you have your hands together like that, and then you pull those 3 fingers apart, and you have them next to your heart, and that is the lotus mudra. Now lotus is, like I say, is one of my favourite flowers, and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. And lotus is heart, it's a heart flower, and I was like, that's beautiful. And in yoga they do other ones where they have like the fingers like that, obviously up, above, and they mean certain things. And I was like, that's interesting. And so more and more, as as I start to become aware of these things and interest in these things, I start to research, and then the universe, my guides, give me all this information, because I love it all, and that's how I've actually set things up in my life. So, and then I came across these cards, mudra cards, and they're amazing. And so then I'm every now and again I can pick one of these cards out and I'm have a look. Oh, it's really interesting. This one is the one that's just come out for us now. The Linga Mudra. This mudra helps to loosen catarrh in the lungs, helps generally against colds, and activates the immune system. Well, we have been dealing with a bit of catarrh and cold over the last few days. So being thankful is a wonderful way of mobilizing healing energies, easing tension, promoting equanimity, and raising one's spirits. It is as if it raises us onto a higher level. Attitude of gratitude increases your attraction power. Become aware of all that is good, because all that is good is God. All that is beautiful within you, of all your practical and mental abilities. Greet these things and acknowledge them with thankfulness. Your thanks will push open the door to a life of joy and fulfillment. Yes, 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 yes. He who sows thanks and praise will reap abundance. I am filled with praise and thanks. Right, and thankfulness mudra is this. Oh, wow. It's literally that. It's clasping the hands together with your right thumb on the bottom and your left thumb over the top. That is thankfulness. And what do we do when we pray? I love how this stuff works. I just realised that. What do we do when we pray? We do that. That's like the prayer. That's like prayer, isn't it? When people say grace, they do this. See, this is what makes this is why it's just like now I know this stuff is true, because this is just this is what we used to do when I used to go to people's like friends' houses and stuff, and they would give grace, give thanks for food on the table before dinner. You'd clasp your hands like this. When we was praying, used to go to a part of my primary school was a Church of England school, so we used to go to church every Wednesday. One of the reasons that I never really resonated with religion was because the church experience, beautiful building, a lot of power in a church. They're built on ley lines. You know what they are? Have a look at those up. Energetic ley lines around the planet. They're built specifically for specific reasons, and it generates power. So beautiful power, lots of power, like energetic power, beautiful places, the church. But yes, they do this in church. But although it was actually, I was always in the left. I always have my left thumb underneath because I'm right-handed. But now I'm going to change it so I have my right thumb underneath, like the picture. But yeah, so that's what you do. Is you'd pray and stuff. You'd have your hand, clasp your hands together like that. You pray, and then you give thanks, grace, with hands like that. So that shows me, and that those things somewhere way back when, whoever came, who turned around and said that we're going to start doing like this. This is how we give thanks, how we pray. Knew the importance of these mudras and things, and that's how I know that these things, there's truth, because it's not just coming from one space, one place. It's not just me reading this. It resonates with me, something I already knew because of previous teachings, if you like. So yeah, so that is thankfulness. Acknowledge what is good. And Abraham Hicks says that, it's by having an attitude of gratitude. I didn't actually say that, but by having the gratitude and appreciation as our main perspective in life. By doing that, which is by being grateful for what we have, we're gonna receive more, because it's kind of the universe goes, oh, they're grateful and they're paying attention to all the blessings they have. They're able to see the blessings in what they have. Have more. And it's not just a case of have more. It's you will perceive more. Therefore, you are getting more. That makes sense. Next one is actually talking about Abrahamics, health and the law of attraction cards. A good friend of mine gave me these. I've got ones on money, ones on health, and these are beautiful cards. So we're going to pull one of these each as well, just because I feel so called. These are the cards I kind of use most often. I actually have to make my own little oracle cards, which I use for readings as well. So yeah, card readings, mentorship services we're offering now, which I've actually started one particular person doing an energy exchange, but it's going to be offered more and more. So, and there'll be various other things. There's going to be, you know, blogs, articles, course I'm looking at writing at the moment, all based around taking. So it used to be a case of helping people break their trauma cycles, but I've realised it's not just breaking trauma cycles, it's helping breaking those trauma cycles. For me, it led me on a path of going from self-loathing to self-love to source love. And source love is home, heaven here on earth, heaven on Mother Earth, as Energy Reader says, which I absolutely love. For me, one thing I've realised that looking back is I believe, I feel that what everyone's searching for is love. You know, I was searching for love in all the wrong places, the same as we're all kind of taught to search for the love on the outside. It's not that love comes inside from within, and then we can truly see the love on the outside. And so in this whole search, obviously, you know, because I was always searching for love, you know, relationships, I was always searching for love. And I believe that's what we're all ultimately on some level searching for, is seeking, because love is home is love. It's the truth of love. Heaven on Mother Earth, it's home. And that's what I've always been seeking. And now that I feel love, I don't need to seek anymore, because it's within me. It's within us all, if we choose to believe it so and see it so. Well, this one is, my attention to lack of attracts more lack of to me. So that's the opposite of attitude of gratitude, and the abundance mindset. From your place of lack, you attract more lack, and that is why most diets do not work. You're aware of your fat, and so then you say, I'm going to get rid of all this stuff that I do not want. And yet your attention is given to the stuff that you do not want, and so you hold on to it, the stuff that you do not want. The way to get to where you want to be is to give your full attention to what you do want, not to give your attention to what you do not want. Makes complete sense. If I'm focused on what I don't want, I will only get more of what I do not want. You'll focus, I'll take your attention off what you do not want and focus on what you do want. Again, it's that attraction. What do you want to attract in? You want to attract in what you do want. So therefore focus on what you do want, not what you don't want. And also focusing on what you do want feels good. One more card. Actually, let me pause this for a moment. Okay, a few little disturbances this morning. That's all good. When my camera and stuff, I can just pause everything. It's not like doing this on my phone, where my phone video would run out after like half an hour. This is on the laptop video, so it obviously lasts ages, which is amazing. Okay, so now this one is about finances. What is of most benefit for all of us to be aware of in this present now, for the highest, greatest, best, good, divine intentions of the all. Oh, there we go. I love how they jump out. That's the one you want, the one that jumps. Whatever I desire, I can acquire. Nothing is impossible. It's all possible. The eternal laws of the universe steadily hold the promise of expansion and joy. Yeah, universal laws. Check those out if we don't know what they are. Understanding the laws will reawaken within you the knowledge of your purpose and your own personal power, as you remember how to access the power of the universe that creates worlds. I love that. If this time-space reality has within it the ability to inspire a desire within you, it is absolute that this time-space reality has the ability to yield you a full and satisfying manifestation of that same desire. It is law. been telling people about the universal laws for quite a while. Beautiful picture there. Oh, and the other one on this. Money isn't everything, but... anyway, so yes, that I think is all we've got time for. Well, no, all the time in the world, because time is just a construct. But that is what I'm allowing my energy for this morning. And now I've got to go and upload this. And if anyone out there have made it this far and you're still listening and still with me, thank you so much. We are aligned. Someone knows. I wanted to research into how to do a live, because when I tried to do a live, I thought it'd just be go off my webcam. It was telling me that I need some streaming software, and I was like, oh no. So I'm just going to do a bit of research into this. So if there's anyone out there that actually understands the YouTube live aspect, then please contact me and let me know. That'd be amazing. If there's anyone there that was able to help with the Just Giving page that I'll be putting up, and my travelling dreams, and the business empire that I am creating, that the divine is, that I'm co-collaborating creation with the divine, along with the travelling adventures, and everything else that I'm creating. Oh, and also going to show my creative stuff that I've already done. So there's going to be proceeds of some of these. They're going to go to charities, as well as obviously back into buying more stuff to create, and obviously so that, you know, I'm able to make a profit for myself to live, to be able to, you know, live and be able to do these, and then to buy stuff to be able to do these as well. So this is the first one which I did recently, which I don't think is actually quite finished yet. It's called it's going to be in the natural, no, what was it going to call it? Love of Earth, Love of Mother Earth, is what this series is going to call. This particular piece doesn't actually have a name. Maybe Nature Love. Oh, there you go, Nature Love. These things just get given to me. Nature Love. So that is, and it's literally, it's just, you know, it's crafting rather than actually, you know, I'm drawing this myself. I've just created it from cut out pictures and things. But it speaks to me about the beauty of nature. Is what I feel when I look at it. So that's why it's called Nature Love. And it'll be in a series of Love of Mother Earth. Okay, and then I have some others. One which I really love, which is part of my Heart Art series, and these will all have the energy of love within them. So that is Heart Art. So this is Rainbow Heart. It's my Heart Art, and it's all like sparkly. It's got diamantes on it. I don't think you can see like rainbow coloured diamantes and things on it, and a little lotus flower that I made out of diamantes in the middle there. Yeah. Again, you know, a bit of painting, a bit of crafting. It's whatever kind of my heart calls to. What's one of the ones I've got in here? Well, there was a lotus flower, like a very colourful lotus flower that I did. That is this one. Another lotus flower. Sparkly, glittery lotus flower on a rainbow background. Rainbow lotus. Oh, I just got a whiff of interesting. Smells have been coming to me. I just quite know what the smells are yet. But that was the smell of the smell of my rose agua, which is just love. This is a heart agua. How interesting. Oh, and again. Oh, and again. Where that is my donor. There's still lots of water there. Interesting. When these smells kind of come, they weren't there before, and all of a sudden they just. Okay. And these are things that you know to interpret. I'm going to take that as I've had that a couple of times now. I've just said that. I'm going to take that as. Is it? Oh, it could actually be inside this bag. That's interesting. Why is this bag smelling? It's just like a gift bag. I don't understand why it's smelling of agua. That's interesting. What else have I got here? Oh, this is just a rainbow background with nothing on it, or a rainbow pyramid. But that's also a bit sparkly. It's got some. Oh, look at that! Did you see that? The light. Look at that. I like that. That's good. I didn't. Oh, because I put glitter all over it. Oh no. Anyway. So that's some of my craft decorations. Oh, dog's barking outside. And then yeah, so there's some information about courses and stuff and things that I'm currently creating. And this is another inspired idea that was given to me. Was one of the things was where I live locally. There is quite a long sort of beachfront here, and it's beautiful being like living near the sea. The water element for me is a powerful element. It's the first element that I really truly started to work with. I'm a water baby, a sun goddess and a water baby. Anyway, and yes, but then I've noticed that the beaches, they're really like the plastics and stuff, and the rubbish, and we get a lot of people come from outside of town, outside of our area, that come down here. It's like the first sort of seafront for a particular big city near us, nearish us. So there's a lot of people that come here during the summer and the holidays and things, which is great. But it means that there's always an overflow of recycling because the bins and stuff get really, really full. There's so many people. Obviously, the facilities are not there for the amount of people that influx and descend on the particular place where I'm living and where I'm currently based. And so a friend of mine has quite a few sort of local beach cleans that happen around, and I do whenever I'm on the beach and stuff, and even in general sometimes when I'm walking around and stuff. I made an agreement with Mother Earth that I'd pick up 3 to 5 bits of litter on my walks when I go walking my housemate's dogs or stuff like that. And I believe, if we all just picked up a little bit, just say 3 pieces of litter every single time we were out, the world would be a lot cleaner, and Mother Earth would feel, she feels that. That would be felt and very much appreciated, and it would also help to bring more abundance into your own life, because you're giving back. It's an energy exchange. If we're blocking that flow of energy, we're not receptive to bringing. So obviously, we can do things like that, and it helps us to be more receptive. It helps that flow. So some of the things I did was collecting. I collect shells and things like that because the sea, they speak to me. And so one of the other series that I'm going to do is she sells stuff from the seashore. What does that play on? Obviously, that she sells from the seashore, and part of the proceeds. So with the Mother Earth stuff, the Love of Mother Earth proceeds, part of any sales that are made to do with that series are going to go towards charities where it's helping Mother Earth, like organisations and stuff is helping Mother Earth, and that'll be, I'll use my own intuition and my own discernment, but divinely guided by my heart and my divine connection as to which organisations give proceeds to help out. Got to make sure that they are ones that are actually for the collective, or that are that are using the donations they get and the help they get for actually helping the collective, and helping Mother Earth is helping collective. And so these ones particularly will go to any proceeds made from this particular series will go to helping the local beach cleans and other organisations that do, conservation specifically for beaches, for seashores, locally. And then, depending on how much proceeds and stuff comes in, then it might be, be able to do it globally. That's the idea. But these are, so they are pictures that I've just kind of drawn, and this one's not actually finished. I don't think it's that way. On shells, basically. I saw someone in a shop once where someone had done a process of like gold leafing on the inside of a shell, and then they were selling the shells in like this charity shop, And I suppose you do like little soap dishes and things like that. And I thought I really liked that. And so these are pictures. They're not to gold leaf. I've only just started working with these, but these are kind of pictures. And this one was going to be an island, but I need to do the finish off the sunset. I did another island for someone else and gave it to them, and I really liked it. This is a tulip, but I'm not too sure about that. That one. So I found these really cool pens where you can permanently draw into shells the hearts, because I love drawing hearts. And then some more hearts, so just like rainbow coloured hearts. And a heart. And the hearts and shells, and a little fish. My very basic drawing of a goldfish. And this one's just more like mosaic-y. And this is what this is going to be, a Christmas tree. And they're very sort of like childlike drawings, bless me. This one's the infinity symbol number, like the infinity symbol, which looks like an 8. But yeah, just more of these, and I want to get to the point where I can put them places to be sold, so that I can, get proceeds in to give to these organisations as a way of giving back. So all the things that I do, whenever anything kind of comes in, it's not just for myself and my business. It's for the collective all. Like even with the business, I want to have a sliding scale, so that the sessions that I charge, the sessions where I'm charging, because there'll be a mixture of like free sessions and free stuff that I'm giving out, and stuff that will be charged, because the business does need to have a profit to be able to continue, and for me to be able to live, to be able to do this kind of stuff, need to be, at the moment, finances and stuff coming in, or an abundance of resources coming in, whether it's financial or otherwise coming in, so that bills and things like that I kind of are paid for and taken care of, so then I can concentrate what I want to concentrate on, which is creating things, whether it's sharing and creating stuff like this, whether it's traveling and creating oracle cards, whether it's creating crafts, or whether it's just creating, like tapping into the energy, tapping into the creative flow, tapping into the divine, tapping into the other energies and stuff, so they can bring this stuff through and be shared out for the collective all. But obviously there are other things that need to happen, obviously in a more human aspect, that need to be taken care of, so that I can concentrate on this. And so with the business, which is Pathways to Lotus Love, which is the same name as my YouTube channel, part of that, the sliding scale, will be so that I'll be able to work with organisations and offer services like wellbeing services, complementary therapies and stuff that I'm trained in, and that I'm going to be training more in, to offer that to demographics that don't have financial money's spare, if you like, the cash available, finances available to have these sessions, to buy these sessions. I'd like to be able to give pro bono, so like pre-sessions or just heavily discounted sessions to certain demographics, to organise certain local organisations and stuff, and other organisations further afield, because some of this stuff can be done online, so that so people that wouldn't necessarily normally get a chance or with the opportunity to experience these things can, by either people that are able to afford it, from a financial aspect, are able to gift, so they're able to provide like a donation, or a gift, if you like. I've seen a lot of organisations do this, where they're able to gift and maybe able to buy a wellness session for someone else to have at a future point. So things like that. And then also there's these events that I've been wanting to organise for a number of years, locally to start off with, where I'm able to get, so they're completely free for people that want to attend, and it might start off as maybe as women first or as men and women, because it was basically originally started around domestic abuse, because obviously that's something I had experience in, and there's a local organisation, that's where I am, that really helped me through that, where I had counselling stuff, and they're an amazing organisation that deal with women and children that are, it's a refugee basically, that are leaving or attempting to leave, domestic abusive relationships or environments, and it's phenomenal work that they do. And I said they were pivotal in helping me, what I went through. And so for me, I've always felt very passionate about giving back to that, specifically to domestic violence, to Mother Earth, the animals, nature, and to children, specifically the the areas that I feel most passionate about. And through children becomes the family dynamic, and so I wanted to be able to hold an event regularly, whether it's monthly, whether it's bi-monthly or whatever, but just get the first one where I had demonstrators from other that are trained in other techniques, that are able to come and demonstrate their technique, and give a little bit of give back. So give something, some value, something for free, a little bit, that the attendees can actually use in their everyday to-day life to help empower and uplift. So uplift them and empower them to give them their power back. Because I know that for me, it's when you've been abused like that, your self-worth and your self-esteem is on the floor. It's the lowest of the low. There was points that the reason I stayed in that relationship for 4.5 years was because there were points in that relationship where I didn't feel like I was worthy of anything else. And it took a long time to rebuild that. And it's even now, it's only really now that I've come to a place of actual self-esteem. I didn't even understand what self-esteem really meant before. I knew what confidence meant, but I didn't understand the difference between self-esteem and self-confidence. And so it's even now, 25 plus years later, that really I've been able to come to that place of of self-acceptance, of self-love. So it's taken some time. It's taken a lot of work and a lot of searching, and not just from myself, but from other that I've met along my way, which I'm very, very grateful for. And so I want to be able to hold an event where I can actually help others with that and give back to others with that, and have other demonstrators come along and offer sort of free sessions for the attendees, or very heavily discounted sessions for the attendees. But these demonstrators, I did start actually contacting various people, and it's going to be a case of some of these people might come along and demonstrate their stuff for free, but they might need to have their expenses paid for, which means they maybe putting them up in a hotel, which means paying for their travel maybe, or they might even charge to come along and do a demonstration. Not everyone's going to be able to. It's going to have the abilities maybe to do it completely as an energy exchange without the finances, and that's just the way the way it can be sometimes. I will set up as much as possibly can that there'll be an energy exchange in these things, but there needs to be an exchange. It needs to be both ways. It needs to be something reciprocal, that they're able to get back. Some people might be able to do it where they're able to do everything for free because they're more in tune, or they're more understand, or they're able to they've built up to the point of where they're able to do that, or they trust that they'll get their abundance, they'll get their gift back in a different way. I've given lots of stuff for free without the realization of where the give back is going to come, and I've been doing it my whole entire life, and it's just natural. But now I understand more about it. Sometimes we can give too much and that can deplete us, so there has to be an energy exchange there. So I'm more aware of that now, because that allows me then to keep myself topped up. I need to have to the point of where my energetic cup is overflowing, so then people drink from the saucer of my energy, not from my actual vital life force energy. Am I giving away and therefore depleting myself? That's how burnout happens. And if if we get to the point of burnout, then we're no good to anyone, let alone ourselves. There's a reason that when you go on an aeroplane, they tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first, so that you're at a point of where you're safe and taken care of. You're taking care of yourself, you're safe first, and then you can help others. Because if you don't take care of yourself, then you might give it all to others, but then you're no longer going to be there to then be able to continue that help. Do you know what I mean? So you have to kind of take care of self first to be able to then healthily and of benefit to all take care of others. So that is another aspect of what I wish to do, is hold events where I can book demonstrators from other techniques and stuff to come and help show others what is possible. There's still in my experience in the environment that I'm in, people around me that are would say certain things too, about I believe that we all have the ability, the capability to be able to self-heal, and I mean self-heal completely. Our bodies can regenerate. Our bodies actually are completely regenerated. We're a completely new person from a physical, I think, biological sense. Every 7 years, our cells, I believe, our hair cells, our skin cells, and everything regenerates after so many years, that we're almost a completely new person, I think, from a biological, bacterial kind of sense, physical sense. So we completely regenerate. Our bodies know how to do this. It's just obviously a lot of the stuff in the external, and the fact that we don't believe it, the stuff in the external that stops us, prevents us from doing that. But these, by more and more people being able to see, witness with their own eyes, their own physical human senses, that these things are possible, and being able to feel it within themselves, the more that people start to believe that this stuff exists, that it can happen, and the more that more people, the power of group belief, in believing in something, the greater that the energy is with that belief that everyone's, believing into. And on that note, I was going to leave it there. So if anyone's able to assist with any of that, please contact me. I'd be very grateful. I am putting out there that it's only of those that are serving alongside me for the highest, greatest, best, good, divine intentions of all will even see this video, or those who need a seed planted. But those who've got right to the very end and have heard my call for assistance will be those that are able, willing, and have the heart, coming from the heart, to be able to assist in some way. They will then be able to contact me and actually connect with my energy, my frequency, and therefore the divine through that. And I thank you if you've made it this far. It'd be interesting to see if anyone actually does. Because I notice sometimes in the YouTube channels, which is why we're looking for other platforms to kind of to go on as well. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you very much to the divine. Thank you very much to my guides. Thank you very much to all the aspects of me. Thank you very much to the cards and all the creations and the creative flow and my sacred body temple, the divine wisdom, smart body wisdom, divine healing intelligence, to all of the stuff that is working with me, alongside me, for the highest, greatest, best, divine, good intentions of the all. I love you all. So there's divine. Until next time, y'all.